Good afternoon, and welcome to another disreputable version of Diatribes from the Voice of Doom. Now here's your doubtful and dubious host, Voice of Doom. That was the balloon going into the ocean. There was some explosives on there after all, I guess. Last year, at about this time, I did a series of diatribes, and they were involving the subject of the State of the Union, SOTU. And I titled them "And So to Bed," and some other versions of the State of the Union, and I did commentary on Petri Dish's idiocy. He was fresh off his victory from Afghanistan, so he could tout that. So I really don't want to retread. I don't want to do the same thing over and over again. Nothing's gotten any better since last year, and everything's gotten worse. So I will not watch, first of all. I'm not going to watch Petri Dish tout himself and have the D's all flapping their flippers every time he makes a cough or a sneeze or a gaffe. And watching the goppers all sit on their hands, which they should be booing. They shouldn't even go. If I was in Congress, I would not go to the State of the Union. Oh, it's decorum. No way. Wouldn't give him the time of day. Don't want to be in the same room with the guy. But that's me if I was in Congress. Now, instead of commenting on his idiocy, which is to come up tonight, I don't have to listen to it. I already know he's going to be full of crap. I will give you my version of the state of disunion. How do you like dem apples? I will give you a little speech about how our union is doing so well. We're so unified. We've never been more at one as a nation and a used-to-be country. Everyone is on the same page. We're all unified in our idiocy, in our refusal to see that we're doomed and it's going to happen soon. And when it happens, people are going to have a cow because they're not used to it. They lived their whole life in luxury, and they're about to pay the piper for supporting and basically keeping a military-industrial complex alive in order that many people can be blown up and shot. So karmic retribution is coming. That's my preamble to the state of disunion. Now, I will not talk of such things as Afghanistan because that's water under the bridge. We won't speak of such things. They're doing fine. Everything's very good in Afghanistan. We haven't had any bombings hardly at all. We only had to kill a few terrorists that weren't allowed to be there. So let's not talk of those things. Let's not talk about inflation. That is in the rearview mirror. Inflation was 2022. That's old. Inflation is coming down, as your lying eyes can plainly show you. Prices are dropping precipitously. Eggs are $6.99 for 18 now. So don't tell me things aren't going down. Domestically, things have never been better. People are moving out of the big cities. Businesses are leaving in order to make room for migrants who are being oppressed, who are being politically tortured for their beliefs in Central America and elsewhere. All these people that you see are now free to enjoy the bounties of what used to be the United States. All they have to do is get their free phone and apply for assistance. And since you are a refugee, you will get special consideration. So we got that going for us. What else do we have going in this great used-to-be country, which is now a landmass covered with bacteria? We have declared victory over any balloons that may fly over the length and breadth of the United used-to-be states. We downed that balloon, and I'm sorry that it landed on a yacht, killing some people. We wanted to keep that from happening. That's why we shot it down over the Atlantic Ocean. Unfortunately, they didn't see the yacht down there. So I don't know if it was Klaus Q-Tip Schwab that was on that yacht with his bevy of underage women, or used to be women. But that was a serious mishap, and I'm sorry. I take full responsibility. But we got rid of that balloon, and we will eventually salvage that balloon as soon as we can get to the bottom of the sea and retrieve it. We will find out exactly what's what. So I'm happy to say that the balloon business is over. There won't be any more balloons coming this way. I will keep up on the balloons, because my predecessor, who was the cause of all the problems you see today, couldn't even be told about the balloons that came his way, because, as is proper, the military hierarchy did not trust him. He was a trigger finger. He is a warmonger. You can tell by all the wars that my predecessor, that Petri Dish's predecessor, started and continued to foment unrest and war everywhere. So he could not be trusted with the information of how many balloons flew all over the United States during his tenure. Now the adults are back in the room, and when we see a balloon, we are not going to wait until it goes across the Atlantic. We're going to shoot it down right off the coast. So don't say we don't know how to deal with balloons with our military, which has the greatest people, most advanced technology in the history of the galaxy. So we can tout that. Now, I'm still working diligently on trying to find the hate mongers that are infesting this country. They are hiding really well. I've done everything I can to galvanize the federal law enforcement agencies to track down, hunt, and root out the haters, the white MAGA haters that are everywhere in this country and hiding very well. But we will find them. I think they found one in, well, might have been Nova Scotia, but they found one somewhere. And we're going to continue looking. So don't worry about all the hate and divisiveness caused by those ultra-right-wing MAGAs. They are going to be dealt with. As a group, they are going to be dealt with. So rest easy on that. What other domestic issues are there? There's not really anything going on. I don't think that food processing plants are burning down, and I don't think that energy power stations are being sabotaged. That is all my predecessor's doing if it's happening. But I don't think it's happening because nobody's told me anything about that. So we don't have to worry about food storages in the short term. Long term, we may have supply chain problems because, as the leading proponent and funder of NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which has spread its tentacles across the breadth of the Eastern Hemisphere, We are prepared to confront China on a military level. NATO and what used to be the United States is ready to jump in the fray and take care of China for this balloon business and whatever else they may have in mind. We are ready to jump into the fray in the Ukraine. The Poles and the Bulgarians are getting their armies together, and they will soon join our brethren in Ukraine to fight those dastardly, godless Ruskies. And they will prevail. The Ruskies will lose. Don't worry about nuclear bombs. Don't worry about atom bombs. Don't worry about hyperbaric bombs. Don't worry about EMPs. And don't worry about germs. And don't worry about viruses that can be airborne and sent from one place to the other. Don't worry about chemical warfare. That's been outlawed. Don't you understand the Geneva Convention? People play by the rules in war. You're supposed to kill people with conventional methods. So all those chemical agents have been outlawed. No one can use them. So don't worry about that. Even if NATO goes to war, and even if what used to be the United States has to join in, we will prevail. Even if we have to blow up every last person on this planet just to make a point. So I could go on about the state of disunion, but I can't think of anything else to say. Crime is very much under control. Criminals are being let out on a daily basis so that they can commit more. So that's good. Any indication of anarchy or any disorganization at the border is all my predecessor's fault, first of all, and it's not happening. So either it's not happening or it's my predecessor's fault. Don't believe your lying eyes. Do not. That's all made up by Fox. They use the same crowd over and over again down at the border and use the same footage. So it looks like there's 500,000 people coming in 3 months. Those figures are erroneous. Those statistics are taken out of context. And it's also my predecessor's fault. And what other issues are his fault? Well, I think that's about it. I've done a great job as your Petri Dish. As your president, I've done a great job for the last 2 years. Nobody's done more. Ask my cabinet. Ask Buttigieg. Ask the people on CNN and MSNBC. They will tell you no president has done more in 2 years than me and President Harris. So we're doing a very good job. And I don't want to hear anything more of it. All I want to hear is the flapping of your flippers after I say something coherent. That's all I want to hear. And I don't want to talk to the press anymore because they're asking depressing questions, which I really can't answer because it's all under investigation. Don't you understand? We investigate things, then you can't talk about it. So I'm going to end my speech early. It's not going to be an hour and 25 minutes. It's going to be 14 minutes and 15 seconds because I think I said it all. And I bid you a fond farewell. Let's hope we have another state of disunion next year, but it's doubtful. All right, thanks and enjoy.